straight from Bezos's secretion glands.
The original, of course.
Comes The Boys. The Boys is Amazon Prime's #1 baby. It's a show that through great character work, a fun concept, and a constantly developing plot has exploded in popularity. Get it? Exploded? And this is a good thing. I personally love The Boys. I think season 3 of The Boys is a great season of television all the way around. But also, there seems like something is lacking in The Boys, and well, I think it is a combination of a few things. And in lacking these few details, it takes The Boys from an S-tier show down to an A. Brutal, I know. So instead of being on the level with shows like Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, and The Cleveland Show, all-time greats, it's more on the level of its superhero counterpart, Invincible, which on top of being very well put together, did suffer from its own problems. Rexplode, anyone. But let me explain why these problems matter, and let me try to give all the Boys fans out there hope that most of these issues can be fixed for season 4. The #1 issue is one that many people have pointed out throughout the show's runtime. Plain and simple, it's the action. Specifically, the hand-to-hand combat action. It's straight up bad at points. It suffers from the Russo brothers' curse of being way too jumpy and having about 3 million cuts per punch and not so great choreography, so you only get a sense of what's going on if you really pay attention. And that's hard. But even when you do pay attention, you never really know how hard someone got hit or really where they got hit at all. It's all kind of blobbed together. It's just like 6 cuts back to back and then someone goes flying away. It's kind of a guessing game, really, and it's so disappointing because all other type of action scenes are sick as fuck in this show. Particularly the gore of human mutilation and things like that. There are so many awesome shots of people just straight up getting annihilated, or like a laser baby taking bad guys out, or Homelander killing a crowd of people. But man, when any two characters are going at it fist first, just prepare for some jarring ass editing. And listen, action is hard to film. If it was easy to film, everyone would have great action. And great action these days really seems hard to come by. So give them credit. And really, if I was being extra nice, I would say that the shit action is actually a purposeful thing done by the showrunners in order to almost parody the people at Marvel for having shitty action scenes. Like almost a negative homage. But overall, I do think that it does bring the show down a tiny bit. Now, thank God it's not a Marvel movie where there are a minimum of 5 action scenes per hour. I mean, it's literally about 1 in every 2 episodes, so overall, it's not a huge deal. But still, when it does pop up, I do notice it, and I kind of lose interest for at least that one scene. The only time ever that shaky cam and 6 million cuts per second worked was in the Bourne Ultimatum, where they are fighting in the bathroom, and it's going absolutely crazy. But that works really well, only because every action is still comprehensible and understood by the viewer. That scene is the exception to the rule that action with too many cuts is fucking trash. If you want to see the most egregious action editing of all time, take a look at Taken 3, where Liam Neeson slowly jumps over a fence with about 17 cuts and the most insane editing you've ever fucking seen. Now, The Boys fall somewhere in between there. The best way to fix this for season 4 is less cuts, obviously, but also show some hits. Practice up that choreography a bit more so there can be less cuts to hide the fake punches. Get more creative with some camera movements and some steady cam to follow the fights. There are also a lot of ways around this. And to be even more fair, I think the action in season 3 is the best action of the entire series. So you can say that it's only gotten better as it's been going along, which is a positive sign. And hopefully this trend will continue into season 4. The #2 issue for me is the convenience of the plot. Now, this is kind of a nitpick, I will admit, and it never has taken me completely out of the show, but I still do notice it from time to time. It just seems like a lot of the time people are in the right place at the right time at completely random intervals, and it has nothing to do with what that character was actually doing at the time, but the writers just needed an intense scene, so suddenly he's there. For example, the character of Little Nina. I won't spoil anything, but it just so happens that a Russian mobster with ties to the Kremlin building pops up randomly to kidnap some member of the Boys literally right when they need to go to Russia. It could not have been better timed for them at all. It was quite random, and she had never been set up before or even mentioned once, so it just seemed like out of the blue almost. I mean, I liked where it led, and the backstory can kind of be yada yada as long as the payoff is good enough. It's like that opposite version of the rule, it's not the destination, it's the journey. In this show, a lot of the time, it is indeed the destination. And the things like Nina happen more particularly at the start of the show. But again, just like the action scenes, it has gotten better as the show goes on, which is always a good sign that the show is in good hands. Hopefully, this trend continues. So I do feel bad pointing out 2 flaws of a show that I do truly like quite a lot. So now I'm going to point out my 2 favorite things about the show. Now, they might correlate with everyone else's favorite things about the show, but still, it should be said. The writing, man. Holy shit, the writing is so consistently good. The characters are so well defined that the dialogue doesn't even seem like it's coming from a script at all at points. It seems all so natural. Every character too, not just Homelander, but every single one is three-dimensional with faults and mistakes that they make, and most importantly, motivations that we can understand and get behind. It's crazy. Every single character, even the shit ones, the straight up Nazis, are like given a spin to where you almost respect. Maybe not the Nazis so much, but just about everyone else. It's fantastic writing. My favorite parts of the show are just when two characters who disagree on something are talking. It just feels so intense. You never know how one of these conversations will end. Someone might die, someone might get hugged. It's just hard to tell. And it's the number one thing that kept me watching. Besides Jack Quaid's supple body, of course. Now, the writing goes along with the characters, and goddamn do I love the characters. Homelander obviously is great, and people say that he carries this show, but I completely disagree. I think it's the dichotomy of him and Butcher that really carry the show. And I think that was the best part of the third season, was their interactions and their conversations. And on a side note, I keep doing a very shit New Zealand accent when I'm bored. Blame Carl Urban, not me. But I mean, even with the side characters like A-Train and The Deep, who were both like the worst people on planet Earth for a while, have completely turned around to being almost the good guys. They're now people that I respect and understand a little more every time they come on screen. Special shout out to The Deep. Fucking love that guy. He cracks me up, man. Always talking to fish like they're his homies. Kills me. Another shout out to MM. I think he is overall the strongest character. I love his backstory and his family and his morals and his loyalty. He's also written very well, and I think he becomes my favorite character at certain points in the show. So yeah, the writing and the characters go hand in hand, and both of them are the best part of this show through, and they're the number one reason I keep tuning in. My other favorite part of the show, however, is the gore. Now that's self-explanatory. Everyone loves the gore, as they should. It's fucking crazy. But the over-the-topness of it at points somehow perfectly fits the almost grounded nature of the story. Like, this show prides itself on being, if superheroes were truly human and in this real world, this is what would happen. And having that concept with the amount of blood and guts and violence and broken bones just completely makes this show so much more fun to watch. Like, it's over the top, but it still feels dangerous for the real characters. One of the most harrowing scenes in the entire show, in my opinion, is when Stormfront is chasing after the terrorist man who just wants to leave. And on her way up this apartment building, she straight up murders like 30 people. Like, goes out of her way to kill like all of these people. And although people are blowing up and stuff because of her like crazy ass lightning over the top ways, the impact of what she is doing is still very much felt. Like, she's straight up actively ruining people's lives for what seems like fun. However, on the other hand, I don't care who you ask, seeing a baby with laser eyes cut a bunch of soldiers in half is just kind of a fun thing to watch, man. And in a lot of cases, over-the-top gore like this can be distracting or cringy or lame in some form, but this show is confident in itself as well as the blood effects that it just goes for it every single fucking time, and I gotta say, it pays off huge. I love it. So The Boys, tell me what you think. I've only heard good things so far, so if you have any other problems with it, I would love to know. Thank you for watching. Come back soon. Remember to like and subscribe.